Hi again, it's your art teacher, Mr. Z, and we're going to take a look at something special today. It's a little bit more advanced. We call it correct proportion. Correct proportion of a human body. It's very, very interesting because usually when kids draw a body, they make everything about the same. So the distance from the head to the shoulders, from the waist to the feet, from the feet to the waist to the top of the head, it's always about the same. Now, when I teach my students how to do this project, what I do is I take a 12 by 18 piece of paper and we measure a 5th grade student to get everything correct. We do not have a 5th grade student here because of the current crisis. So I suspect that I'm going to have to do this without a current student, but remembering what I have learned. So what I did was I took a piece of paper here, and it's supposedly 18 by 12, but I reduced it to half of that, which is 6 by 9, okay? So this is 6 inches right there, and this is 9 inches. Then what I did was I took my ruler, and since I'm doing it half size, I put my, oh, this ruler's a disaster. I took my ruler and I set it on the bottom. At the bottom of the picture is 0, and then I made a mark for every half inch. 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, and the top of the page is 9. We measured a 5th grader. We've done it for many, many years. And what we found was that the 5th grader's head takes up about that much of their body. And by measuring it, I found out that that went to right down to the 7.5 mark. So, I had to get a new ruler because mine was terrible. Very good. That would mean that at 7.5, which of course doubled would be at the 15 mark if this was 18 and this was 0, but we're not doing it that way. Let's put a mark at 7.5. At 7.5, and if you don't mind, let's put neck. The neck and the head are about that much of the proportion of a 5th grader's correct proportion. We next measured the 5th grader and we found the waist would be at about 5. And I think this is the most significant part of the lesson class, is that head and neck are here, shoulders down to waist here, and I think what you're seeing is that the majority of the body is between the belt and the feet. We can also divide this in half, and we measured the 5th grader's arms, and we found out that it went from 7.5 all the way down to 4. Your arms extend below your waist, of course. What we've had problems with kids doing is that they make everything the same, right? So the arms are kind of sticking out of their shoulders like little rubber gloves or something, and they're not down to the correct level, which is really almost just above your knee, okay? Now, believe it or not, we have the correct proportions here, doing so by measuring a 5th grader, and I divided it by 3. course, we had to use the smaller version so it fits under my video screen with my limited video knowledge. Now, let me check if we're still recording. We are still recording. And since I see some space here, what I will ask fifth graders to do is I will give them that much of a person and I'll say draw the body. And generally, this is what you'll get. You'll get a body, and you'll get arms, and you'll get arms, and it won't be right. It'll be not right. So that's why we have this lesson, to make it a little more clearer to you. I'm going to take and put right in the center of this line here, I'm going to put kind of an ovular shape, or kind of a head shape. And you can even divide that head in half, okay? That's where the shoulders, that's where the neck touches the shoulders. The shoulders are about this broad, but the waist is generally narrower. So I would run a line for shoulders at the neck at 7.5, and I would run a line for the waist at 5. Now, of course, people are different shapes, sizes, colors. All shapes are beautiful, all colors are beautiful. Every child has a beautiful heart, and so you can make this into whatever you want. Okay, that said, we now know that the arms from the shoulders will come all the way down to 4. So I'm going to kind of rough those shoulders in. This is kind of where the hands would be, and the rest of this will be waist and feet. I never allow my students to set something down on the bottom of the picture space, but we have to here so that it will comply with this assignment. Having it touch on the bottom of the picture space is bad composition. I'm going to give this guy some, he's a guy, I'm going to give him some bell bottoms. That looks good. And the feet would be big. That's very, very rough. That would show you the correct proportion as opposed to the incorrect proportion. The main thing I want you to pay attention to is where the arms land. They're right above the knee. The shoulders are wider than the waist. And then you can have some fun. If you want to make it into a princess or a goblin, or heaven only knows what you want to make it into, I think I will make mine into a person with a bad haircut. So, basically the eyes are in the center of your head. Your nose is between your eyes, about the distance of one eye. Then you'd find your mouth, and you can start to kind of form the rest of the head. This guy has very big ears. And he has a horrid bowl cut. Maybe you know somebody with a horrid bowl cut. I know a few. Maybe we'll give him a little bit of a side. That is the correct size of head compared to the body for most people. Of course, we have people that have different sizes. They may be born with a condition. We are talking about just your average fifth grader that might walk into the room when this thing is over. Okay. So we give them a nice bowl cut, and now we have a neck, we have shoulders, and the shoulders can kind of flow right into the arms. I like to kind of draw the hands from the side. And you want an open shirt, you want a jacket. Doesn't matter, since we're trying to show you where the waist is, I think we're going to kind of try to keep the waist right there. We're not going to overdo it. Nice pockets. Want a little smile? Maybe some eyes, better eyes. He's looking up at heaven. That fifth grade boy, he's looking at his bad bowl cut. Okay, great. Maybe some wrists. And now we can work on the pants. You could be wearing big cargo shorts, that's fine. Maybe we'll give him some big shorts. big old cargo shorts. I like cargo shorts. There's some big pockets. And very good. There's his cargo shorts. And coming down, and as we well know, ending down here would be, I don't know, maybe some tennis shoes? They look pretty big, don't they, guys? Well, they have to be because the head's big. The person's big. Now, you might say, well, Mr. Z, that kind of looks like a kid I know. Well, I don't really care if you know the kid or not. What I care about is that you get your proportion reasonably correct. Of course, we always add some color. Very good. Some nice pants. Maybe some pattern. Maybe a little bit of balance. Maybe put some balance in here so we have the same color shoe. He's got a nice orange hairdo. Nice yellow ears. Maybe give him a more noticeable belt. And then for maybe a background color, we could choose any color. I think a dark color might work well. I'm going to put a little bit of dark behind him. You can make yours into whatever you'd like. Maybe a monster, a wolf man. As long as you get the proportions right. That's what I'm concerned about. And to do so, again, you would do that by making measurements. If you use a 12 by 18 sheet, you can double the assignment. If you want to do a small one that is 6 by 9, perhaps your project will look more like this than this. And if so, you have learned about correct proportion of a 5th grade art student. This is Mr. Z signing off. I hope you enjoyed the assignment. Please be safe and send me pictures of your correct proportion, showing me what you've learned. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.